guys and gals, this is Chad again, and I want to welcome you to the second episode of the Speciale Cruise Conversation series, where I talk story with my good friend and special guest David from Honolulu Time Company and his amazing Porsche 997.1 GT3. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and if you want to see more content, click the subscribe button below. Thank you very much. I've been meaning to ask Gil, I wonder what's the purpose of, why doesn't everyone do gated shifters?
I know, right?
Like, what's the reason? Is there some sort of physical reason that makes it more difficult or something? I don't know.
I mean, I would just think that it's a, you know, as these cars compete and they try to get quicker, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would just think that it's a more inefficient.
No, what I mean is compared to a boot. Like, why not make it? Why not do all cars have gated? Is it because it's?
I would imagine shit falls in there.
You think that's what it is?
Right? Coins, all kind of fries. Fucking, you right?
Yeah.
That's what I would imagine, right?
Yeah, you get like freaking like orange drink.
Right. And then you gotta take it. You gotta take it to Velocity and have them fucking fish it out.
That is very true.
Right.
That is very true. That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, man, the gated is just sexy here, man.
Yeah, like the click clack. I love that.
But you know, it's like, yeah, guys like us like love that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Old school.
Something that will never die, you know,
Right,
like
right.
because you know, like the not kids, but correction, not most car enthusiasts. What they're gonna do is they're gonna look at, well, whatever's the fastest. And unfortunately,
right.
the future cars will always be faster. There will always be another mod.
Right.
But stuff like this will never, you won't replace the experience. It's impossible.
Yeah.
It'll never die. It's like timeless. It's like watch it, I guess, right? I mean, it's there's no such thing as a better model. It's just different.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm just into that like timeless stuff, right?
Yeah.
So that's why like I think a lot of people like even watch people they get that, right? It's not always about the latest and greatest.
It's definitely not about keeping accurate time.
Yeah, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's about like, you know, there's both sides there. I mean, you want the latest and greatest, but sometimes you want old school mechanical feel, and you know, that's why people still love manual and watches. Right?
I just like it because it can be thinner.
Thinner, yeah.
You don't have the huge counterweight.
True, yeah. You know, so
I mean, it's not that inconvenient to wind it every morning.
No, it's not, and like, so that's why a lot of people, you know, some people say, there was a saying before, I think some Panair people used to say, like, the manual is, it's like feeding your fish, right? Like you go through the morning.
Yeah. It's
you spend your time with the watch, you know. Yeah.
That's an interesting thing. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah. Some people say it like that. It's like you take that time every morning to care for your watch.
You get to appreciate it. It doesn't become a commodity that becomes invisible.
Yeah, you don't just put it on and like, right?
Whatever.
You like actually sit.
You look at it, you make sure the time is still good, because who knows, maybe it died overnight or whatever, and you forgot to wind it the previous day.
Yeah. So some people have that morning routine, right? Sit down and have their coffee, wind the watch, you know, put it on, look at it, kind of enjoy it, right? So, yeah, that's why, like, I don't know, I mean, but likewise, like, even, like, with my cars, I like the variety of it, right? So I like this, I like the McLaren, like, I like to have the different perks, like, the different, the differences in the cars. I mean, I love, I mean, you know, you love the progress in things too, like the engineering. As they get quicker, you're like, oh shit, it's, you know, like double clutch, all that stuff, right? It's cool, you know. I'm not gonna knock it, for sure, right? So it's just different feel, man. You know, you want different things. My first car was a hand-me-down, of course.
Oh,
right?
that's everybody's.
From my parents. It was an Oldsmobile, right? So that's the first car I drove. But my first car that I actually well, my parents helped me buy it with a deposit, but I did the payments.
Right.
Was Volkswagen Golf
Hmm.
Mark III 2.0, and I was what was I, like 17 when I got that, or 16, and man, that was what started it. And like I got into cars from that. I used to go to, I don't remember, but I used to go to Sonic's, which is in Fukumoto. And so I got that car, and I bought it used, and it came with some good stuff. It already had like it had Momo wheels, Momos, right? Momo arrows, and it looked really nice for like a high schooler, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
You're
So,
German already. You know,
Yeah.
most people had what, Toyota Corollas or
Right.
Tercel or something like that, right?
Right. So, dude, I literally, like, I didn't eat in high school. Saved all my money, right? All my lunch money. All my lunch money went to the car. Serious, I didn't eat, man. I didn't eat. Like, I ate so little. I just saved. I used to go to Sonic's and buy stuff, you know? So I bought, like, what was that car? I bought, like, front lid.
Of course, it's got to be the body.
Yeah.
Right? Gotta be the side skirt.
I
Gotta
dropped
be
it.
the
Yeah,
whole
I
thing,
dropped it. You know, did exhaust, of course. It was interesting because at that time, and you know, the car was slow as shit. 2.0, 8 valve 2.0, right? But I still went to the track. Took my speakers out, trying to reduce weight. Still clocking like 18s. You know, so it's it was fun, man. It was a fun car, but dude, I got into this crazy car accident in it.
Oh Jesus!
It was the last. So it was the last day of school, and all the boys, you know, I went to St. Louis, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
all the boys were like, oh, you know, fuck, we go tracks, everybody go tracks, right? So we all got our little slow cars down the tracks, right? And then so after tracks, there was a house party going on,
Okay.
and so we all finished tracks and we were driving to the house party, and I didn't drink in high school, right? I didn't drink at all. So, but they're like, hey, Louis, go transport the alcohol for us.
Oh no.
Right? So I was like, okay. So I had the whole case of alcohol in the back. And this one guy hops in there. They're like, hey, can you take my buddy to the thing? So this guy hops in with me. I mean, I know from high school, but we didn't really hang out.
Yeah. Acquaintance, classmate.
Yeah, like, you know, like we hang out here and there, but we never, I don't think he ever rode with me before. So he jumps in the car. And we're driving, we're all going there. I mean, there's a whole group of cars or whatever, convoying, whatever, right? Doing high school stuff, speeding.
I know.
Off and on. But, you know, we weren't really driving reckless. We were just kind of like going pacing at 70, 75. And this one kid who just got his license, didn't know how to drive for shit.
No.
Was cutting in and out, and he basically merged in on me and pretty much almost hit me, right?
Right.
So,
You braked and.
so of course, me being a young amateur driver too, I brake really hard, right?
Yeah.
And when I did that, my car, I think my tires were kind of bald too.
A little bit of traction.
Right. yeah. It slicks. But my car slid and went into this other car on the right lane.
Oh,
Smashed the car. My car spun, caught on fire.
Oh.
Right? Like on impact, caught on fire. And
Alcohol
spun.
doesn't help in the back, huh?
So dude, yeah. So as my car is on fire, it went into the rail and it was on fire.
Yeah.
And I'm like in the back, reaching in, grabbing the alcohol and throwing it over the freeway, okay?
Yeah.
Like throwing it on the side.
Get it away from the fire.
Huh?
Or,
Yeah, well no, I don't want to get busted.
Oh, like you were drinking, right? That's all.
Yeah, well I don't even drink, right?
No, but it would imply.
Yes.
They have alcohol in them.
Exactly.
And you're probably going to crash. There's probably open container because it broke, right? So I was like, fuck that.
So I didn't want to get busted because I didn't drink. So like I don't want to get in trouble for that, you know. So I threw the stuff, and people were like, the next day, you know, like the next day they're like, "Ooh, are you crazy? I heard you trying to save your sounds in the fire."
Yeah.
Like, dude, I ain't trying to save my sounds. I'm trying to throw the alcohol away to save all your asses from getting busted.
Yeah.
You know? So, but yeah, I crashed that car, and it was a bummer. But I ended up getting a so then I wanted a convertible.
Convertible.
Yeah. So I got a VW. I got the same car, but the Cabrio, which is a convertible, right? So, same color in red. You know, souped it up. I did a lot of stuff to that car though. Like I souped it up. It was still slow as shit.
Yeah, but it was the second car, so you took the mistakes you learned from the first one, right? And you kind of like, okay, I know what to do now.
Yeah.
As we all do. Oh, it's classic.
Yeah. So yeah, I souped that car all up, and then I went into like actually after I got rid of that car, then I went into I got into Japanese cars a little bit, but I never wanted to buy this. I never wanted to own a car that was like everyone had. So at that time, that
You want to be different.
I always wanted to be different.
That's why people modded their car anyway, to be unique, right?
Yeah.
So,
but you know, at that time was the whole Honda craze, right? Everybody was doing Hondas, right? So there's a lot of Hondas. You know, all my friends had Hondas. You know, hot cheese and stuff like that.
yeah.
So I chose the 91 Miata, right? So 2001, I think. I love sound, man.
Yeah, it's flat. I'll prevent the wind buffeting. The wind buffeting, roll down this way. Everything feels so tight.
Yeah.
I like too how the car jerks forward when you slip off the accelerator because it
Yeah.
touches accelerator.
Yeah.
It tells you fucking positive fucking engagement.
Right. It's very different from the current 991 manuals.
Yeah.
It doesn't do that. It won't do that.
Why is that? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Did they design more slip or more push at something? Yeah.
They've just perfected that. Like it's just
The
the
base,
lights.
the bike.
Yeah.
It's just more raw, like, you know, it's racing. Who fucking cares, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that feeling. Everything feels so tight, even when you accelerate. It feels like,
Yes.
yeah, you know.
The car is tight, man. You
Yeah.
gotta drive it after. You gotta drive
I don't know.
it.
I get nervous driving other people's cars,
really?
especially
I mean-
if they're stick. I don't wanna.
Oh, really?
I don't know the car. I don't know the engagement point. Like, no. We normally take a left at Kamehameha. Oh, what a noise. Is the 997.2 like this?
Well, yeah. Yeah, I think so.
What about the 4.0?
Ooh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, 4.0 for sure. No, I mean, I've never driven a 4.0.
But I'm sure it's the same. It's
sure,
based off the 97.2,
yeah.
right?
And 4.0 is RS, so.
Yeah, that's
right,
true.
So
That's true.
it's more rugged, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I got into Japanese cars, right?
Yeah.
So Miata, and that car I bought for like $1,000, and like, dude, that one I did the whole junkyard thing. So I went to the junkyard, stripped the car,
Yeah.
redid the interior, like did it. Yeah, kit, everything. That was like, you know, had a roll bar and all.
Oh,
that.
you went full
Took
out.
out the harnesses.
Wait, roll bar on your cabriolet?
No, on the Miata.
Oh, the Miata, that's right.
On the Miata. Tokatas and
Yeah.
you know, I used to go to Japan all the time. I used to go to the roadster shops up there. So I'd go like find stuff. You know, this was before the whole JDM exports out of Japan.
Before Fast and the Furious, got it.
Yes. This is before all of that, right? So like going to Japan at the time was like people were like, oh, you know, I went as a student,
Yeah.
and I kept going back, yeah, I basically it funded my trips. I was a college student and I wanted to go to Japan, but you know, I couldn't afford it, so that paid for my trip. That paid for my trip. I would find stuff, bring it back and sell it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I was like 21.
People were selling CDs with all the songs on it. You were selling Japanese JDM parts.
Yeah. I was bringing back parts. Just like totally on the side, like.
Yeah. To your friends and stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
Very, very minor.
Oh yeah, I'm going up there. Go pick up. You know, what do you want? You
Yeah.
even take orders, right? People want it. Because back then the shipping was horrendous.
Yeah.
It's like what 6 to 8 weeks, and you pay like some ridiculous price for shipping. Assuming how would you even find them and pay them because they didn't have online stuff yet. Right? So.
Yeah.
Or it was at its infancy, which was kind of sketch.
And what do you call? I carried like wheels back on the plane. I mean,
Like all 4 of them?
yeah.
Oh, they were small.
Not on the plane, but you would check it in.
Oh yeah. How fast you can go feels amazing, yeah. I love the clutch engagement. You don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
It always feels like a cushion now every time.
Huh?
You know, on the newer cars that have six, it feels like there's a cushion now every time you engage.
Yeah. It does.
Now just right.
You just like it, right.
Yeah. It's like no give. It's just boom. Yeah. It's like the sped actually when you crank it.
Right.
It just slams it down. Yeah. It's a great feel. And I mean, shit, it's fast enough. Like.
So that's what I've always.
Yeah. Fuck.
That's what I've always kind of felt is.
Yeah.
I feel like, just in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like the horsepower range from about 400 to like between 400 to 500 is like very perfect. Very perfect because you can still really push it to the limits and still enjoy it. Like, I mean, I love, you know, like my 570 is fast, but shit. I get to 100 and I get to like 160 like so quick, and it's over really quick, right? So you know, this one I think you get the sensation longer, like because you get to accelerate hard, right?
You're at what, 5th gear? I mean, how often can you get into 5th gear, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And the gear ratios are probably shorter too, right?
Yeah.
Maximize the torque, right? Okay. And how old is this car? Was this like
07?
Shit, man. Feels fucking tight, like nuts, yeah.
Yeah. clutch bite is very, very different from a 991.
Yeah,
it's very different. When you drive the 2, like you see, I mean, you should just drive it like
I don't
like just drive it around somewhere, you know, because you have to feel the clutch.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's very, very. You know, I swapped cars with Papa.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's right, 901.2, yeah?
Yeah, he's a 911.2 manual, right? Remember?
He was like, holy shit!
He came out, yeah, he's like, oh my god, he's like, this car is gangster, dude. Yeah.
How much stuff did you have to do to this car in maintenance?
Really,
all the years.
Anything.
You probably didn't put much.
I only had the only thing that went bad was the alternator.
Really?
Yeah. That was the only thing.
Wow.
Oh yeah, so I'll tell you the story, man. So before I bought my Cayman, right?
Yeah.
So I had the MR2.
Hmm.
It was 28. I went over to Porsche, and I was like, you know, I couldn't afford anything, but went over there and just to look. And Ash was the one who helped me. And he was like, hey, you know, you wanna see anything? And I was like, I told him, no, you know, I can't afford anything, and you know, I just want to dream, so I just want to look at cars, you know. And he's like, so he points to a GT3 in the showroom, and he goes, you should drive that car. That's gonna change your life. And I was like, no, man, I can't, you know.
Perfect.
And then. He goes, oh no, and he insisted, you know.
Yeah, because you're nervous too, right? You're there, you can't afford it, like,
yeah,
I don't know if I want.
Yeah, he insisted. He was like, no, he's like, you can if you want, you know, you can drive it.
Yeah.
And I was like, you sure? He's like, yeah, if you want, you can drive it. So, first Porsche I drove was a GT3, right?
That's crazy.
Manual GT3.
It's a 997.1 too.
997.1 manual GT3.
Yeah.
And shit, you know, coming from an MR2 with you know, like what, 160 horses.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit blew my mind, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted a GT3 since, but so that led me into buying the Cayman. Because the Cayman was something that I could eventually. I think like a year later, I bought a Cayman.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my first Porsche, Cayman S, and shipped it up, and then I sold it. I actually made money on it.
Really?
Oh yeah, I got such a good deal.
If you bought it used or something, or new?
I bought it used.
Yeah.
28,000.
Yeah.
I sold it for 35, but I was done after 2 years. Right?
Was this after? Was it 2009 and above, or?
It was yeah, it was like a 2000. It was like a 2008 or something like that.
Oh, okay, so before direct injection.
It was like the first. It was like the 97, the first type.
Yeah.
And then yeah, it was a great car. You know, drove awesome. And then so I went over to the Evora, and it was a cool car. It looked cool. Had, you know, this is like my first car that had that kind of. I always wanted a Lotus, but it had that exotic kind of thing. And then I went in, and then I got So when I had that Evora, and I was telling Ash, I told him, hey, I think I'm ready for a GT3, right?
Yeah.
So, and this is why this car is special, because he goes, oh, you know that car that you drove in the showroom?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the guy who bought it is actually thinking about selling. So I was like, give me the number. So I called the guy, bought the car. That's this car. So, you know, this is the first Porsche I ever drove, and it did change my life when I drove it, right? So that's why, to me, it's very special, because it came back full circle. Like, I couldn't afford it, but when the time came around,
right? And it was the exact car.
No, it's the car.
Yeah, yeah, the same.
This car. This is the car that was in the showroom that I drove. So that's why, to me, it's like, it's special, because it was meant to be, you know, for me. Oh, open the window again. I want to hear the sound.
You hear it talking up the street.
First off, wow, what a story about David and his GT3. You know, amazingly enough, this is just one of many stories that deals with Porsche and their understanding of supporting and fueling the next generation of car enthusiasts. Focusing back on riding shotgun in his GT3, it was nothing short of spectacular. That Metzger engine is really something special. It's so raw and unrefined compared to the 991 GT3's engine, which in comparison sounds very synthetic with an over-engineered noise and exhaust. That Metzger engine is just a pure mechanical symphony of traditional flat six howling, with the exhaust being there to only amplify the engine noise instead of digitally synthesizing it. That gearbox was also very brutal and just had a solid partnership with the engine. The clutch bites so hard, and coupled that with the intense throttle response, and it gave me goosebumps with a connection to the engine I just haven't felt before. And this is just my impressions from the passenger seat. The suspension was also stiff, but not brutally so, and after thinking about it, I believe it is due to the seats, as they were not carbon buckets. The amounts of padding in the normal seats helped dampen my back from following the violent ups and downs that the car was doing as it hit little road imperfections. It's a very involving sports car that will never ever be duplicated. Looking at the 991 generation and up, I feel that future models are going to start to melt together into one long progression of just getting faster and faster, with the old adage of buy the latest model you can afford. Somehow similar to how I feel about some current Ferrari models, but the experience of a 997 will never be duplicated and will go down as one of the finest modern examples of what driving is all about. I want one bad, and I have already let my Porsche general manager know to keep an eye out for a clean 997 GT3 for me. So in conclusion, just stay tuned for more awesome videos like this one coming soon, and I will see you then.